There was a time when wearing glasses was a social death sentence.
Men will never ask me out if I wear my glasses.
If you had frames on your face, you were labeled an idiot, a nerd, a reject. A man who sells new identities. He turned something mocked by everyone into the most profitable fashion category on earth. Glasses became eyewear, medical tools became luxury, and the world never looked back. All because of one man. His name was Leonardo Del Vecchio. And this is the true story of how he brainwashed the world and built a billion-dollar empire while doing it. Born into poverty, abandoned by fate before he even took his first breath, lost his father before he was born, and his mother couldn't afford to raise him. By age 7, Leonardo was sent to an orphanage, not because he misbehaved, but because his mother had 5 mouths to feed and no money to do it. In that cold, strict institution, he learned 2 things early: silence and survival. At 14, he left the orphanage and entered a workshop. There were no dreams, no second chances, only machines, sparks, and the constant threat of injury. That threat became real. He just lost part of a finger in a factory accident. But instead of quitting, he doubled down. By day, he shaped metal. By night, he studied design. He needed a vision that would one day redefine how the world sees itself through eyewear. At 25, he left Milan in his rearview mirror to build an empire, moved to a remote village called Agordo, where no one knew his name, but everyone would one day wear it on their face. With just 12 employees and a few tools, he founded Luxottica, a tiny workshop that would become the biggest eyewear empire in history. Even before Armani, Ray-Ban, IPOs, and global domination, there was just a boy, abandoned, injured, and underestimated, who turned metal scraps into billion-dollar vision. A young apprentice turned entrepreneur, establishing Luxottica as a mere component manufacturing in Italian Alps. At this point, the eyewear industry was a fragment landscape of small-scale workshops and independent opticians. No one saw the visionary shift coming. However, Del Vecchio did not just react to the market, he saw the future. He refused to be a mere pawn in the industry's existing game. The true turning point of Luxottica wasn't a walk in the park. They needed a fundamental shift in philosophy, a move that would lay the very ground for an upcoming empire. By 1971, just a decade after its foundation, Luxottica made a critical pivot. Del Vecchio ceased contract manufacturing and launching its first collection of complete eyeglasses under its own brand. This wasn't just about selling more product, it was about seizing control of the entire process, from design to final output. It was the embryonic stage of his master plan. Luxottica's frame were Del Vecchio's obsession with quality and design. Luxottica quickly gained a reputation for superior craftsmanship in a market often prioritizing low cost. This compliment resonated, first in Italy, then across Europe. The company's success wasn't instantaneous, it was relentless. Luxottica meticulously built its wholesale network. Its sales figures steadily climbed through the 1970s and 80s. Fueled with growing demand and reputation for reliable, stylish product, they began setting up international sales subsidiaries, starting with Germany in 1981, strategically expanding their reach before any significant external purchase. This organic growth was quietly posing them for something far larger. Then comes the boldest statement in the 80th. In January 1990, Luxottica made a historic move. It listed its American depository receipt on the New York Stock Exchange. This wasn't just a financial transaction, it was a declaration. Luxottica became the first Italian company ever to bypass the Milan Stock Exchange and go directly to Wall Street. Del Vecchio wanted to signal his global ambition to access deeper pools of capital and project an image of undeniable international structure. The IPO raised $80 million, a significant war chest that would fuel the next phase of its expansion. By the early 1990s, Luxottica was no longer just a small Italian manufacturer. It was a globally recognized name in quality eyewear. With its robust manufacturing base,